The year is 1916. The Baltimore Symphony Orchestra held its first concert in the United States. The British Royal Army carried out the very first blood transfusion. The Chicago Cubs played their first game at Wigan Park. The same year, Conesville School was built and established as a center of learning for the village of Conesville and the surrounding areas. Some stories for some of our alumni. I remember when they first added the science lab and computer lab to the school, and we were so excited to have them and to be able to participate in those classes. Another great memory from being at Conesville student is how we would all dress in our Halloween costumes and parade through the village. It was always so fun. From Casey Bowman. I went to Conesville School from kindergarten to 5th grade. I loved all the teachers. Mrs. Beitzel was my favorite for sure. It made so many friends at that school, and it was in every talent show, singing and dancing with my friends. I remember playing dodgeball in the gym and riding on the scooters that you had to sit on. Always felt safe and at home. I will forever cherish the memories and friends that school gave me. From Tori Swift. I was born June 6, 1913 in Adams Mills, the third of 9 children. My father farmed most of his life, so we moved as it became necessary. I was the oldest girl. We were just a regular farm family. We had our chores to do. We had milk cows, so I went to bring the cows in the milk. I usually went in my bare feet, so when a cow would get up, I would stand in a warm spot to warm my feet. I helped with the milking, and then I delivered it to Connor Dairy in Coshocton before I went to school. I attended Conesville from 1924 through 1929. After graduating from Conesville in 1929, I went to Coshocton. Mary Wolford Wright, class of 1929. I started driving school bus in 1954, which had no power steering and 5 gear changes. Regardless of the weather, snow and ice, we went to school. We put chains on the tires a lot of times. Some roads in the New Moscow area were so narrow no one could pass without getting into the ditch. I would have to back up, hook on the chains, and then pull them out. I had a busload of kids and 2 bus patrols, one in the middle and one in the back, and I took care of the front. Punishment for bad behavior was a front row seat for a day or two. My first year, I was paid $50 a month. That's from Irene Phillips Alberson, class of 1927. Some more stories from our alumni. My first day there, it felt like home. I made many friends and had many good conversations with some teachers, and Mr. Moore was my favorite. He always let me sit in his office with him because I didn't feel comfortable around the other kids. From Olivia Stone. I went to school there, kindergarten through 6th grade, and have been a bus driver for Conesville for 8 years. Sure, I'm going to miss that school. From Chris Barrick. Walking through the village of Conesville, dressed in our costumes for the school class parties in October. The residents would wave and smile as we passed. We all felt like celebrities. From Sarah Nelson. I was in the United States Air Force from May of 1962 through May of 1965 and was honorably discharged as a first lieutenant. My tour of duty was at the NASA Lewis Research Center. While I was there, I spoke at the Conesville Alumni Banquet in 1964. With models of the Saturn project, I talked about how we were going to journey to the moon and back. From Donald Lacey, class of 1953. Near the end of my sophomore year at Conesville, our family moved from Conesville to Roscoe School District. So during my junior and senior years, I walked a mile each morning to catch a Conesville school bus. And of course, another mile after school. My 7 younger siblings caught the bus for Roscoe just across the road from our house. Besides carrying several books each day, I also carried my mellophone, which I played in the band for 6 years. Never regretted a moment of it. From Judy Carroll Young, class of 1960. The year is 1950, when the back part of Conesville School was built. During the year, the Korean War began when North Korea invaded South Korea in June. The Diners Club issued the first credit cards, and President Truman signed the Organic Act of Guam. Some more stories from our alumni. I remember Mrs. C's and her hair. She had a mirror in her closet with her Aquanet and would check and fix her hair throughout the day. From Mindy Yoder. Mrs. C's was one of my favorite teachers. I was terrified when I heard I had her, but she was wonderful. She later taught my kids in Sunday school and was fabulous. From Jen Nicely. Conesville Talent Show was always one of my favorite memories while working at Conesville. It was always such a special day. From Jamie Swaggart. Every year, Linda Lau, now Berman, would have us make candles in the art room for our parents for Christmas. We would dip our wick in melted wax and then cold water circling the table until there were many, many, many layers of red, blue, purple, and white wax. The older grades got to cut the sides of the candle and make pretty curls. Ann Lahr. I remember walking to school in the snow so deep that my mittens got wet. My hands almost froze. The janitor took me to the furnace room and put my hands in a bucket of snow to ease the pain. It sounds strange, but it worked because my hands are still working. The school bus would drive past us and the kids would all yell at us, but we were the town kids, so we had to walk. I liked school and liked to learn. In the 6th grade, I tutored a lot of kids that could not read. My parents were average readers, and I read a lot of Zane Grey and Louis L'Amour. Wayne Duncan and Wayne Nicely gave me a good run for the valedictorian of the Conesville High School class of 1945. I attended Muskingum College and became a teacher. In 1943, my brother Leroy Miller joined the Navy at the age of 17. Our dad signed for him to go. He went to the Great Lakes Naval Training. His chief petty officer was H.E. Rodham, Hillary Clinton's father. I wrote to Mrs. Clinton and sent a picture of the crew of sailors. She answered back with a nice letter. Leroy was discharged in 1946, was tutored by Mr. John Zoller, a Conesville teacher, and he graduated at Conesville with the class of 1950. From Ortiz Miller Row, class of 1945. Some more stories from our alumni. Remembering Mrs. Vickers. She was such a sweet person, always bent down to our level while engaging in conversation. Her smile lit up our classroom. Also, Mrs. Woody, my sixth grade teacher. She was the best reason for me to enter the room, from Kay Randall's. Mrs. Pooley in first grade was my favorite teacher. She read a book in the beginning of the year. Don't forget to put our names on our paper. She would write at the top, don't forget the bacon, around 1995, from Julia Liston. Members of the class of 1943 were here to celebrate their 70th alumni banquet. 70 years ago, World War II was raging everywhere. Our classmates were well aware of the fact that many may never see our classmates again. On February 15th, our first member, Fred Mobley, left to serve the Army. Victor Cox's father owned a coal truck. Although gas was rationed, Mr. Cox let Vic take the truck, free of coal dust, and all the students were welcome to go to the train station in Coshocton to see Fred leave. The truck was full of students waiting at the station. When they arrived back at school, the principal expelled all of them. The remainder of the story is a long one. A few months later, every boy in our class was somewhere around the world fighting for our country. Thank God, every boy got home eventually. They had been in hell on earth. From Pauline Pepper Coman, class of 1943. My favorite memory from my elementary years in the 1960s was being loved by our cafeteria cook, Kathleen Hardesty, and watching her love on every child that walked through the line. It didn't matter if you were poor or rich, clean or dirty, she loved everyone and reminded us to smile and be thankful for what we had. She taught us work ethic as a young girl by taking pride in washing dishes and the importance of a clean cafeteria to keep everyone healthy. I have many memories of each teacher I had at Conesville Elementary. They all had a significant impact on my life and laid the foundation for the person that I am today. From Janie Perkins Bowman.
Make
few more stories from some of our alumni. My first year of kindergarten was in that school building. I had Mrs. Ireland. I just remember all kinds of things, like making homemade ice cream in the double wide that was at the front of the school when both playgrounds were in the back. I have so many memories. The only thing I can say is that it was the best school that I have ever gone to, and very sad to see it go. From Kimmy Dubosh. When I was at Conesville, I remember being a crossing guard in the mornings. I also had a lot of fun in the choir and the talent shows. When I was there, Mr. Moore was becoming the principal, and he would talk to me in the hallway. And Mrs. Ireland would try to say good morning to every student she saw. Mrs. Z was always a lot of fun in art class, from Carly Oliver. In second grade, we made folded cards that resembled a house. We decorated them, and then in December, we went caroling around Conesville to many of the older folks, singing carols and giving them a card and a small bag of candy from Ann Lahr. I remember the Thanksgiving of 1950. Nearly 2 feet of snow covered the roads. The township road had snowdrifts up to 10 feet deep. After 1 week of school being closed due to the weather, a teacher by the name of Mr. Oliver Smales stopped by and told my dad that my sister, Mary Lou, and I could ride with him as he lived near Adams Mills. So the kids that could go to school were required to do so, and all the others got 2 more weeks at home. When the buses resumed their routes, the sides of the buses would scrape against the wall of the snowdrift. I remember that I had to skip a day or 3 of school as well. Dick King, class of 1955.
I just wanted to make it a quick announcement. Parents, if you could, as the last acts are performing, if you could remain seated until the end. We are going to have the alumni song at the end, but also tonight, I was going to do this at the end, but I'm going to do it right now just to squeeze it in. That way we don't get rushed at the end. Tonight, at the end of the concert, we will have donation boxes at the door if you would like to help a Conesville family that's going to be in need this Christmas season. We just found out today that we do have a second grade student who is diagnosed with a terminal illness. The doctor said they have about 2 to 4 weeks left to live. And so I'm not trying to bring the mood down tonight or anything like that, but I did want to let you know we will be taking donations for them at the door at the end of this concert. We wanted to make that gesture for them. The staff has been raising money over the last week as he's taken ill and went to the hospital, but he was diagnosed with 2 different types of cancer working at the same time. So we do want to keep that family in our thoughts and prayers this holiday season. They have some things that they're going to be planning for him. Hopefully one trip for the family. But you'll see some other things pop up for that and some other ways we're going to try to help them out and meet some needs that they have. But the first way that we're going to try to do that is by taking a donation at the door to help them with some gas money, food, and different things that they have as he's in the hospital. So if you feel led, you can donate there. There'll be some people with gift boxes at the door. You can donate there at the end. But we do ask that you stay till the end. The kindergarten through second graders are here on the outside watching. At the end, we're going to give them time to get back to the library and then you will sign them out with their teacher in the library to leave, because we don't want anybody to leave without us making sure they get with their parents. So let them get to the library and get signed out there, and then we'll leave from there. Thank you.
On the afternoon of Christmas Eve, 1818, Joseph Moore, the vicar of St. Nicholas Church in Oberdorf, Austria, brought the organist Francis Gruber a poem to set to music for the Mass to be celebrated at midnight that day. The organ was broken, so Gruber set the text for two voices and guitar. That night, the carol was sung for the first time, with Gruber singing bass and Moore singing tenor and playing the guitar. Since then, it has been sung thousands of times all over the world in many different languages.
Oh
School year 2022-2023, filled with learning, love, and fun. Things we have done this year have included selling mums, celebrating success at our county fair, celebrating our veterans in an assembly, enjoying our Christmas concert at the end of the 2023 school year. Conesville School comes to a close. We will cherish our memories made over the span of 106 years that the school has been open. At this time, we have our honor choir to sing our alma mater. We ask that any person who is in attendance tonight that went to Conesville School come to the stage to be recognized and sing along with us. Please stand on the stage, the stairs, or the aisles. We will sing our song and the honor to the legacy that is Conesville and Riverview.
right, I will not hold you any longer, all right? So all the students, with the exception of our students that are up here on stage, are back where they can be signed out. We have donation boxes at the door if you'd like to donate to that Conesville family. Thank you for coming tonight, and have a Merry Christmas.